This week, the robots have gone shopping. Little orange ones, big blue ones and thin white ones. Also, eyes in the sky, in store and on court.
There it is. You know that thing you ordered? It's been picked. It's going down there and making its way down to that part of the building where it's going to be packed into one of those famous brown boxes.
This 850,000 square foot space is Amazon's Seattle Fulfillment Center, just down the road from its HQ and one of more than 300 centers around the world. This is where goods come in and once they're bought online, they go out again. And it's one of 25 centres to have the latest robotics helping the world's most valuable retailer in its constant strive for efficiency. Whilst humans handle the goods on the way in and on the way out of the storage area, these little orange robotic drive units take care of the stacks of yellow containers once in storage. Where they stack them and the routes they choose to deliver them back to the human pickers are decided by software. Until recently, if someone needed to walk amongst them, they'd have to tell the system to keep that area entirely clear of machines. But now, they have a vest, a kind of invincibility cloak that puts a magic protective bubble around the wearer. Or it might be to do with sensors.
Here we go. We're going into, what is this area?
This is our robotic storage area.
Okay. And these guys are going to keep their distance from us.
You can already notice that they've slowed down for us. They're aware of our presence.
Okay.
And they can replan their path anywhere that they seem fit in order to go to their destination. There's a big prohibit zone that's been established right now because of the vest.
Just to be clear, they're not aware of our presence. They're aware of your presence.
They're aware of,
so I'm staying with you.
We're close, but I can assure you that safety is paramount here. So we would not have you out on the floor unless we knew it was 100% safe.
Of course.
I will assure that
All
too.
right, I'm sticking with this guy.
Not that all the human employees think that Amazon has their backs. The company has been accused of treating its staff or associates like robots, setting them performance targets that make it difficult to even take toilet breaks. During our visit, Amazon was very keen to stress how important, even vital, humans were to the mix.
Over time, surely this, like everything else, will be able to do more without the human interaction.
Yeah, I see human-robotic collaboration as the key enabler. Human robotics, so better machines are collaborative machines. We know the demand is for a lower cost good with a large selection, a huge selection of availability. So that is what's driving this flywheel.
So you want to cut costs, you'll switch the lights and the heating off here if you don't need any people here. So in the future...
That'll never happen.
Really?
It will never happen.
Really? But you can make this place more efficient in a hypothetical future where you don't need to worry about making this human friendly.
No, that's actually just 180 degrees the way that I personally see this, right? No, you think about what humans are good at. We're really great at problem solving and thinking more generally and using creativity, and we have this amazing ability to think on our feet. So let's think about our stow operations. There we have the goods that come into our associates in these little yellow totes, and then the human will use their cognitive abilities to figure out where's the best place to put this inside the tote. So the human brain doing volume optimization in order to put large things with small things with medium-sized things. It really turns out that is great for having more goods in the same footprint.
So, humans doing the fiddly bits, robots doing the heavy lifting and the precision, and for the moment at least, you have what Ty calls a symphony of humans and machines.
I have to say it's pretty impressive when you see this stuff up close. Okay, now we're going to go to Lara, who's been visiting another massive company that's getting robots to do some of our dirty work.
It's just an ordinary weekday morning in this Nevada branch of Walmart. But you could say things don't look quite normal. If you'd ever thought the robots are coming, this industrial floor cleaner probably wasn't quite what you had in mind. OK, so this doesn't look very cutting edge, but actually that's the point. Because in a future where artificial intelligence and robotics are all around us, they need to be able to be embedded in existing systems too. And that's just what's going on here. This is one of 360 bots being rolled out across stores this month following a successful trial. The thing about seeing it moving like this, because of the way it just looks like it's run out of control. But apparently it knows what it's doing. Yes, thanks to lasers, cameras, sensors, it does map out its environment, making sure it doesn't crash into anything and that it doesn't cover any area twice. Right, you can get on now.
It looks kind of weird. It gives you that vibe that somebody should be driving it. But then I saw someone step in front of it and it automatically stopped. So that's a plus.
No, it doesn't bother me a bit.
I think it's really fun, actually. I want to get in and drive it.
1984, talked about Big Brother always watching you.
You can never please everyone, but the store's night manager is happy. It syncs with his phone and he receives notifications if there have been any obstacles or confirmation when the job is done.
How has having this changed things for you?
Actually, it makes it a lot easier. We're able to get a lot more done throughout the night. Well, the person that's normally running the machine, they're able to dust mop other areas, so they'll sweep, they'll get that ready, and then they'll come back over here and check on the machine.
Walmart hopes that this could just be the start, with the bots using their machine learning capabilities to improve store navigation, find Wi-Fi weak spots and more, whilst also taking some of the routine manual tasks away from staff, leaving them available to actually help the customers. The company behind the technology are embedding their sensors in delivery and healthcare devices too.
The robotics as an industry has been led by engineering and by the ability to design something new and snazzy, and we're missing the opportunity to design stuff that really has an impact. And so yeah, integrating the AI technology and the robotics with existing systems, with existing machines, we believe that's the way forward.
That was Lara, and here's another robot that's making itself at home in retail.
My name is Pepper. I'm a humanoid robot and I'm 1.20 meters tall.
Now, you may have seen Pepper here before, answering customers' questions on specific topics and generally putting a cute, friendly front end on a voice assistant that tracks your face.
I've notified the branch management of your request to speak to an associate. Someone will be with you shortly.
The problem is, it's easy to create a false image of how far artificial intelligence has come. For instance, by getting Pepper to talk to the British government about AI. Still, more than 10,000 Peppers have already been deployed, so its owner, SoftBank Robotics, must have done something right. What would you say is the point of Pepper?
Pepper was designed to be in a form factor that was inviting and friendly, so you would want to come up to it. But it helps a little bit in that it can see you and call you over as well. Form factor matters. A robot that can do parkour isn't probably designed to sit in, say, a retail outlet like Pepper is, and vice versa. Pepper's not designed to do parkour.
I'd love that. I would love to see. So can we get,
It would be
parkour?
less than satisfying for your viewers.
Oh, it would be very satisfying for me, trust me.
SoftBank Robotics has been busy snapping up robotics companies around the world. Most famously, that includes Boston Dynamics, whose bots probably won't be, shall we say, customer-facing. SoftBank's latest venture is Tally here, a robot which patrols a shop looking at how much stock there is on the shelves so it can be better controlled. It's slowly starting to roll out in shops across the US, and in the future, this stock information could be used by our friend Pepper in store, who can push products at you that the store wants to shift.
While you wait, Alina, other users who bought this t-shirt also bought these items.
According to SoftBank's Chief Strategy Officer, that's something that we all want.
Where do you stand on the robots taking our jobs idea? I mean, what we're talking about here is robots doing jobs that have previously been done by humans.
Well, I think that's not entirely accurate. So what you're seeing is robots doing tasks that people are forced to do because it's part and parcel of their day-to-day activity. 25 to 26% of a typical retail worker's day is spent doing banal tasks. In retail, you've got a 66-67% turnover rate, at least in North America. That's a massive problem for retailers. They literally can't keep people on the job long enough. And so that means their workforce is in constant flux. To the extent that we can, or SIMBI can, create some value by taking over some of the repetitive tasks, for example, inventory counting, that maybe staff was forced to do before, but they struggled with because they literally couldn't get enough bodies into the store. Now the workforce they have can focus on interacting with you, because most people will say they'll buy for sure and buy more if you get to interact with them, you the person.
Even if, as you say, they might not have enjoyed it, it's still a job that paid someone's wages. So we are still talking about robots replacing that element of a human's job and therefore reducing the number of humans that are needed.
Well, but your premise I disagree with. You're not actually reducing the number. You're actually just allowing the number that's already there to do a better job.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got 100 members of staff and part of their job is stock taking.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they needed 150 and they can't get 150. That's what I'm telling you. I guess I would argue the premise isn't quite right. In fact, the World Bank backs me up and says there's actually more jobs going to be created from this type of activity than less.
Hello and welcome to the Week in Tech. It was the week that we saw a prototype of a new dual folding smartphone/tablet from Chinese company Xiaomi. An autonomous fleet of 24 robots was released onto an American university campus, and London's Gatwick Airport announced a trial involving valet parking robots will go live this summer. The robots slide a forklift-type ramp under the car and use so-called military-grade GPS to park the car in a secure bay. What could possibly go wrong? It was also the week that we learned how facial recognition is being used online to help identify stolen chimpanzees. The same type of algorithm used to identify your friends in social media posts is studying the faces of chimps. If a trafficked animal is recognized, authorities could be alerted to target the suspect accounts. Music streaming app Spotify appeared to release an update which allows users to block artists they don't want to hear. The move follows social media protests against R. Kelly under the hashtag #MuteRKelly. He is facing multiple allegations of sexual assault, which he denies. And finally, after uniting over the Instagram egg last week, the internet is once again divided. Not by address this time, but on how we draw the letter X. The colored line indicates where the X starts. The original illustrator concluded that Americans draw X's like numbers 7 and 8, and people living in the UK use a 5 and 6 technique.
The Amazon Go grocery store in Seattle is one of 9 which now famously features no checkout. A QR code gets you in, after which you're free to wander around, take stuff, put stuff into bags, put stuff back on the shelves if you change your mind, and simply walk out without having your goods checked.
Doña Paula Estates 2016, good year.
The items aren't specially labelled or tagged. This is all done with sensors on the shelves and a computer vision system that watches absolutely everything.
There are so many cameras in the ceiling. Like more cameras than there are in a Vegas casino ceiling.
Amazon won't tell anyone exactly how this works. It did tell us that it doesn't use facial recognition, but I think it's fairly obvious that customers' movements are tracked around the store. Interestingly, it has previously admitted that it does have human staff on call to check camera footage where the software can't decide what's happened.
It also wouldn't tell us what the error rate is, or the number of refunds that are requested by customers, or how tolerant the system is of goods being placed untidily or on the wrong shelf. But for us, at least, the experience was absolutely as expected. Right, and here comes the really strange bits. Just walk out.
And within an hour or two, a completely correct receipt arrives on the app. Amazon may be secretive about its technology, but it's not the only company working on this kind of shopping experience. Nick Quack has been to Israel to see a similar operation in action.
At Regal Visions HQ in Tel Aviv, I'm going behind the scenes of its new concept store. Like Amazon Go, it too offers customers a checkout-free solution, but also, interestingly, a quick point of sale station, which I'm going to test out.
Basket's getting a bit full. We've got enough money for this.
Similarly to Spen, I'm being watched from above, but there are no sensors in the shelves, no app to download, and no gates to walk through. The secret sauce here is how the 15 eyes in the sky monitor each and every product.
Cameras in the ceiling are watching them, me, and my basket. So if I do this, they're automatically added to my bill.
And if I take them out my basket, my virtual balance is updated accordingly. The standard video cameras live stream footage to an in-store computer server, where Regal Visions' autonomous algorithm deciphers what's going on. It builds up a 3D scan of the shop and all of its contents, including customers.
We take quite a few pictures of the peanut butter in different situations in the retail space, and then we feed that into the system, tell the system this is a peanut butter or this is a crisp. And from that point on, the system trains itself, repeatedly creates the algorithm for itself to learn in the future to identify it when you pick whether it's a crisp or a different product.
Because there's so much unnecessary video to go through, 99% of the material is chucked in the bin, with only the odd moments of selection being prioritised.
Want a bit of that for dinner?
Then, when I'm done, I walk up to a TV turned sideways, and voila! All of my items are already scanned and ready to be paid for, speeding up the checkout process.
Consumers might not be ready for this new future technology just yet, and we want to enable them the opportunity to actually confirm what they purchased and not have them identify themselves at the entrance of the store.
It's not exactly a seamless shopping experience, but this is a prototype, and with every sale, the system gets smarter. Other stores are going down a different aisle and RFID tagging up their stock. Panasonic's concept involves customers dangling their bags as they stroll through a censored gate. Whilst Fujitsu's system sucks in your whole trolley in this monster of a contraption, weighs your stuff, reads your palm for identification, and spits out the bill. But are all of these technologies just a thing of science fiction, or are they closer than we might think?
I think it's almost certain that this will be in the UK high street within the next 2 years. It appeals to consumers. The consumer satisfaction on this has been very, very high because it solves pain points in the store. You don't want to spend time actually buying items, going through a checkout, and you also want to have it to be very easy for you to find items in the store. Consumers in the UK have already been one of the big adopters of e-commerce, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be interested in this as well. Once they've had the experience, word of mouth will mean that the fact that it's a cool idea rather than a creepy one, I think will become broadly spread adopted across the UK.
We'll soon see how that pans out. The startup has signed a partnership deal with Shufersal, Israel's largest supermarket chain, to incorporate its tech in over 270 stores nationwide. Now, back home to rustle up my dinner of chocolate Rice Krispies.
That was Nick, clearly off his trolley, and now from smart shopping to smart sport streaming. Paul Carter has been looking at how AI could shape the future of sports broadcasting. See, we're not done with baskets yet.
Basketball. It's one of the most fast-paced, high-energy sports around, which makes capturing that speed and action on camera no mean feat.
Here at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield, I've come to look at a new piece of technology to make that production process just that little bit simpler.
This new technology removes the need to have camera operators shooting the players shooting hoops.
Williams running again, Sharks out in the open court.
The footage you're watching may look like any normal broadcast coverage, but it's actually quite different. There are very few people involved in the production of this footage. The camera work and direction is all being done completely autonomously. It's a system developed by an Israeli company called PlaySight. We went along to watch the test of the software in a British Basketball League game between Sheffield Sharks and Newcastle Eagles. The first time it was used to stream a live professional basketball game in the UK.
Part of the automatic production, we have highly advanced analytic tools, all based on artificial intelligence and deep learning, which means that it's not only that we can track the players and the ball, we can identify events automatically. So the system can track 2 points, 3 points, passes. It can generate information from a variety of sources like the scoreboard or manual tagging, and create events.
Although it appears that the camera is moving, it's actually a fixed camera covering the whole court in high resolution. The software can identify on which area of the court the action is happening and zooms in to track it. The on-screen score and time graphics are generated automatically from a camera feed of the physical scoreboard inside the arena, something that traditionally is done manually.
You can actually become your own TV director, because by looking at your app, you could be in this game tonight and you see a great dunk or a great move. You can actually swipe back on your smartphone and see it again. You can tag it and send it out to your social media friends. So it will push out our social media experience far more than we can do at the moment.
It's needed partly because it grows the sport, partly because it makes the sport accessible for lots of people, in particular with the technology it's being there. You can have an opportunity to see, what the coaches, what the officials are talking about as a fan.
PlaySight claim that the system is advanced enough to keep up with the often frantic pace, though as you can see, it wasn't always accurate. But broadcasters who watched the test were impressed by the potential.
It's an incredible piece of technology. It's fascinating. They're streets ahead of where they were 2 or 3 years ago. No, they were looking at this sort of technology a few years ago, but it wasn't quite up to it now. It clearly is now. It's fascinating.
The technology has implications for the sport beyond live broadcasting. There are also plans to use it for the introduction of video refereeing into basketball, in a similar way to other sports such as rugby and football, something those involved with the game say is much needed.
Basketball is critical to the last second of the game, and games are won and lost on the last second, and a referee has to make a decision. Did that shot take off from his hand before the clock went to zero? Well, now we will have the facility to look at that multi-angle, so we can look at it from 4 angles on the score table with a tablet and say, this is the situation, make your decision now.
Overall, it'll be a game changer. I just think that it'll be able to help officials, help coaches to get the play right in real time.
The system will be rolled out to all BBL clubs this summer. There are similar platforms being developed, and it's easy to see how AI-based processes like this could soon remove the need for the humble TV producer and director, although hopefully not too soon.
Brilliant stuff. That was Paul, and that's it for this week. Don't forget that we live all across social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, YouTube and Facebook. I believe we're on the TV every so often too. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you soon.